Hi, and welcome back to Brizy Academy. My name is JP, and we are continuing our journey on Brizy Wordpress. Now, if you've never done anything at the Brizy Academy, then I highly recommend you go check us out. Go over to brizy.io. And once you are here at brizy.io, you will see we have resources, and the Academy is second from the top. Join the Academy. Graduation is easy upon completion. What you can do here is go through all the courses that we have. We have Brizy Cloud and we have Brizy Wordpress. And Brizy Wordpress is the focus of this course. You'll see there's a little pop-up here. You can also subscribe, and make sure you subscribe to YouTube because we just cannot cover everything in this tutorial. The idea of this course is to give you a solution, a website that you can get out there and make it work for you. But the reality is that there are so many features right inside Brizy, especially Brizy Pro, which we cannot comprehensively cover within a course like this. YouTube is there for that. Right, so let's filter it, and you go through the Brizy WordPress and the Brizy WordPress 101. We have landing pages here, website course, many others. Have a look. And then for this course, we are going to divide it into 3 parts. Part 1, I'm going to show you how to do everything from scratch. Because I think it's important to understand how do you create those pages, how do you set up your navigation with a menu and a global header block, how to create the footers, and those things that are important. But then I'm going to show you the power of the pre-made templates with the one-click installation. That is part 2. So in part 2, show you how to do that, bring in one of the many hundreds of pre-made templates that we have. We've just added 26 new stunning modern templates as well. And they are there for you to use. No need to think too much. Import them with the one-click installation and then just swap out the content. So I give you both worlds. I give you the custom as well as the pre-made. The third part is only accessible here in Brizy Academy, and that's those features that we're not going to include on the page, but they are noteworthy. I think of here especially pop-ups, very, very noteworthy, a mega menu, and a few others like sticky header. Those will be in part 3, only accessible on Brizy Academy. So if this is on YouTube, you'll have to switch over to the link in the description below. Go find it in the Academy and get a crack-a-lackin'. What do you need for this course? Yes, you do need an installation of WordPress. In the next chapter, I'm going to show you how you can practice along for free. Also, this is Brizy WordPress Pro. We covered free in the previous tutorial, so you need to get access to a pro version. If you haven't yet made that jump, follow along, have a look at what's going on, and see if this can work for you. But Pro, for me, is the way to go. And that is enough for introduction. Let's get started. Welcome to the second chapter in our WordPress multi-page tutorial for Brizy WordPress. And what I want to do is just give you a hint if you want to practice along, but you don't have a host, or you don't have extra space on your host, or you can't create a subdomain, or you don't know how to practice along for free. Of course, for Brizy Pro, you will need a license, but if you just want to practice along, there are a number of ways. I'm going to show you the easiest and the fastest way currently that I can find and that I highly recommend, and that is TasteWP. I'll open up Firefox, but you can use any browser, whether it is Chrome, Edge, or Safari. All of these guys are going to work. And we go to TasteWP.com. What it does, it creates a free website for you to work on, but the website will expire after a certain few days. You can sign up for a pro version if you want to keep it. There's also a few other options if you want to keep it forever. But the idea is really here to practice, or to stage, as we call it. And then when you're ready, you can go live with this website. This is a great tool for testing, and you're going to see how fast it is to set it up. I highly recommend that you sign up. So I'll go ahead and log in first. And the reason for that is the moment that you sign up and you sign in, the time it takes for this website to expire is 7 days. So you have a week to work on this website, do everything you want, and practice along, but then after a week, it will be deleted. Just remember that. Let me add my email address and then my password. Log in. All right, we can say save. And from here, all you do is you go to create new site, and there's a number of options here. I'll go for the latest PHP version at the top. And then over here, I will deselect all of this. And I want you to select 2023 for a specific reason. So I'll select it and I'll deselect Astra over here. And then let's give this a site. This is WP Multi Brizy. You can decide what you want to call your site here. You can change, of course, the site name within WordPress later on. And look how quickly it's going to create this instance of WordPress for you. Let's click on Create Temporary Site. And it says there, creation took 1.320 seconds, 1,320 milliseconds. Whoa, that's pretty awesome. You'll see there's a password, everything there. All I'm going to do is click on Access It Now. By the time you see this video, this would have expired already, so no worries if you want to access my account. When you get into WordPress, it's going to give you this big splash screen telling you more about TasteWP, Go Premium, etc. All you need to do is click on OK, got it. Now that we've installed it, in the next chapter, we are going to just get WordPress ready before we rock and roll it with Brizy. In this chapter, we're going to get WordPress ready, and this is a personal taste. It's just something I do at the beginning. I really believe everyone has their own workflow when it comes to this. And I think I always talk about the 4 Ps and the 1 S. So the first thing I will do for my first P is go to Posts, and I will delete the current post, which is Hello World. I'll trash that, and I'll click on Trash, and I will also click on Empty Trash. I'll do the same for the pages. I'll box select them, go to Move to Trash, apply that, and then go to Trash and trash it again. The next P is plugins, and I'm just going to have a look here whether they installed a plugin. There are no plugins here because I deactivated them at the beginning when I set it up in TasteWP. Then I hop on over to Settings, but before I do that, TasteWP use a color scheme for the WordPress installation, which is not my favorite. So go to Users, I'll select Profile, and you can go for the default, but just to spice things up a bit, I'll go to Midnight and scroll to the bottom and select Update Profile. And then next is Settings, General. And what I will do here, I will leave the site title and tagline for the end of this course, but I will go to Site Language and I'll put it on English South Africa, and you put it on the language that you feel comfortable with, as well as the time zone, which is +2 for us here, UTC +2. And that will be the save changes. And then the last P in my 4 Ps is permalinks. Select permalinks, post name, and then save changes. And that's it. I've set everything up very nicely here. If you want to, you can take a sneak peek or a quick look at the front by selecting the top here, and it will take you to the front end as the user will see it. This is how it currently will display as generated by the WordPress Theme 2023. Let's hop back into our dashboard. What we'll do in the next chapter then is install Brizy. And that's going to happen basically in 2 parts, because before you bring in the Pro, you bring in the free, and then we're going to go get Pro at the website. Welcome to our chapter 4 on our WordPress multi-page for Brizy WordPress, and we are using the Pro version in this tutorial. If some of the stuff I'm doing feels a little bit fast, that's the benefit of video. You can watch it again. And if some of it feels that you have no cooking clue what I'm talking about, it is highly likely that we covered that in the previous course, which is the starter course for Brizy WordPress. And I do recommend that you go and watch that. It does only focus on the free version, but that will help you get that foundation for what we are doing here. The idea in this tutorial is to build out multi-pages and cover all other functionality within Brizy Pro for WordPress. Now we need to bring in Brizy, and before you can work on Brizy Pro, you need to install Brizy Free. Go to Plugins and we select Add New. And from the WordPress repository in the search bar here, we just type Brizy. And because Brizy is so unique, You're going to find it very easily once you've typed it in there. Install now. And one of the things I really like about TasteWP is their speed. It really goes quick. Often when I do tutorials, when I use local servers, I have to edit a lot of the time out because I sit and I wait and I wait and I wait. But this is real time. I say install and activate, and this is actually a little bit slow. It feels to me this morning, still very fast. So we go ahead and activate it. Notice here at the top, give us something, come on, give us a good review. We deserve it. But in my case, we have a start screen here. Welcome to Brizy. We'll go through that once I've installed Pro. And you can also see here in the navigation sidebar on the left within WordPress that we have the option here to go Pro. If you select that, it will take you to brizy.io and it will give you the pricing page. You can select your packages here. Not going to go through that, but you are more than welcome to have a look at what works for you. What you want to do once you have selected your package is to log in. So we go to login. Once you have logged in, you have your dashboard here. And this is where you're going to have your Brizy WordPress plugin for the Pro version, which is currently at 2.4.24. In my case, I also have access to Brizy Cloud and it appears down here. Click on download Brizy Pro and depends on the version that is currently available and you will see it will download. Once it is downloaded, we go ahead and install it. So we jump back into WordPress. Again, we go to plugins, select add new, go to upload plugin and select browse. I'll go to my downloads. I have Brizy Pro there and I'll select open and click on install now. From here, activate the plugin. In the next chapter, we're going to activate, but before we get there, let's have a look at the starter page that we are greeted with, whether you are installing Brizy Free or Brizy Pro. If you've never worked with Brizy, it's always a good place to come back to this and have a look at what's going on here. Here is a getting started video, which will really give you the basics of just how to get going. And it's going to give you more or less these two options down here, how to start from a pre-made website or how to add pages to the website you already have. And then you have your starter templates, browse the website libraries, install with one click, start editing your websites. And all of this we're going to be covering in these tutorials. I highly recommend that you go and visit the Academy. This is where this tutorial is actually housed. And there are other tutorials there as well. And we are keeping it up to date. So you are always up to date on what is happening in the world of Brizy. But it's very important that we bring in a license, because if you don't bring in a license, and you go into the builder, you're going to find that all the pro stuff is still behind locked doors. So we need to go get that key. And that we'll do in the next chapter. In this chapter, we're going to activate Brizy Pro in WordPress. Once you have installed Brizy and you go to the navigation sidebar on the left, you will see we have the option for settings. Select, and from the tabs, select license. And here your license key needs to be entered. To find your license, hop back into Brizy, and from your dashboard, select WP licenses. What you need to do is click on generate a new license, and this will generate the license key. And to get the full license key, click on full key. Gives you the pop-up screen, double click to select it, then right click and go for copy. We go back into WordPress and we paste it, Control V, Command V, and select activate. And that's it, license successfully activated. Now your Pro version has been fully mobilized and activated, and we are ready to roll forward and have a look at exactly what has happened now since we have installed Brizy in WordPress. This is chapter 6 of our Brizy WordPress multi-page tutorial. And let's just clean up a little bit. I'm going to close out these tabs so we only have the builder open at the moment. And have a look at what has happened now that we have installed Brizy. On the left, in the navigation sidebar for WordPress, you will see that the Brizy label appears here. So if you ever want to go into the settings for Brizy, this is the place. Let's go to the WordPress dashboard just so we can do that. Hover over Brizy, you have your settings here, but you can also just click on it and that will take you to settings. Under settings, you're going to have some general options, what you want to activate it. And if you're using WooCommerce, you will also find that your store and other pages will appear here. If you're uploading SVG, this has to be activated, as well as for JSON, this is where you do it. Role Manager, nicely also added for you here. And maintenance mode, we will be looking at in a later chapter, how to set this up so that we can have a coming soon display for people who come to our site while we are still building it. And of course, we did go through the license. Other options under Brizy include stories, which we will not be covering in this tutorial. But stories is an Instagram-like feature that you can set up within your page, and they are great for mobile marketing and engagement. Pop-ups, we're definitely tackling this super function of Brizy Pro. Templates we will be returning to in the next tutorial for Brizy WordPress when we look at blogging. Integrations and leads will be covered in this tutorial. This is all about mailer integration like Mailjet, MailChimp, etc., as well as collecting all the info that you collect through the forms that people send to you via your site. Tools, this is if you have a URL that you need to replace. Starter templates we'll be returning to. And the getting started is that page that we looked at in the previous chapter. If you ever need to return here, this is the place to go. And then finally, get help. And this takes you to the support.brizy.io. Don't hesitate to ask. This is what happens when you install Brizy. And let's talk in the next chapter about the theme. Because in the previous tutorial, we heavily focused on working with a theme together with Brizy Free. Do you need a theme for Brizy Pro? And that is the question we'll be answering in the next chapter. Hi, JP here at Brizy, and this is our Brizy WordPress multi-page tutorial. I asked this question, do you need a theme? And I think whenever I hear this question, it is possibly the most popular question in the WordPress community of new beginners, even for hard and fast users. Do I need a theme or not? And the answer to this is so murky because with so many different apps on the market, sometimes you don't need a theme, sometimes you do. And then themes have also been turned upside down on their head with full site editing that was introduced since last year. But the question is, do I need a theme for Brizy Pro? One of the big features of Brizy Pro is that it is a theme builder. And what do we mean by a theme? I'll just go to the front end here and I'll click here on the site. A theme gives you the control over how your header and your footer displays as well as your dynamic content. Not so much the page, but those things. And in Brizy Pro, you have the power to build all of that out from scratch. So Brizy Pro acts as a theme builder. Going back into the back end and we go to appearance and select themes, we had set up the 2023 theme by default, which is usually the case with WordPress. It's the latest WordPress theme that is activated by default. There is a slight little problem when you are using theme builders like Brizy and connecting that with a theme like 2023, which is a full site editing theme. And that is that it doesn't give you the easy access to create a menu, which you still need to do on WordPress. I would recommend that you still go for one of the themes that we have on our site and install them so that you have that easy access here in the navigation sidebar to add a menu. So the question to do I need a theme to run Brizy WordPress Pro? The answer in short is yes, you still need one because you do need to create menus and it's kind of the backbone of WordPress, but make sure you get one that is lightweight, very, very small so it doesn't add to the footprint. And you can again check at Brizy.io under our partners for the themes that we do recommend. Are we going to be using the theme to build out? You're going to see we're not. Unlike what we did in the free version, where we needed the theme for headers and footers because you cannot do that with Brizy Free. In Brizy Pro, we're not going to need that, but we're still going to install the theme. Let's add new, and you can choose whether it is Neve, whether it is Astra, whether it is Bloxy. And I think this time let's go with Generate Press just to shake things up a little bit and do something different. Generate Press also works perfectly. There we go, Generate Press. And we activate it. And now you will see in the sidebar, now we have our menus and widgets that appear here. It's much more easier for you to access that through this interface than it would have been through the WordPress 2023. Unfortunately for GeneratePress, this is about as much as we're going to use GeneratePress at this moment. We just open up that functionality. We're using this awesome free theme, and now we are ready to build out our page. A good idea though, before you start building out a page, especially in your website, is to set up a coming soon page. And that will tell people that there is a website that is being constructed. It also helps with SEO. So when you have a search engine that comes to your site, it will understand that this site is a new site. It may already index it, but it will note that this site isn't down, there isn't any problem with this site, and that this site is running perfectly. So in the next chapter, let's do that. Let's set up the coming soon with the Brizy functionality. And this will also give us a quick recap as how to use the builder. In this chapter, we're going to set up a coming soon page, which we are building in WordPress using Brizy WordPress Pro. Go to Brizy in the sidebar on the left, Settings, and then Maintenance Mode. Next to Maintenance Mode, you have two to choose from: Coming Soon and Maintenance. And often people just choose them interchangeably. It's not 100% correct. If it is a brand new site, you have to rather put it on Coming Soon. And if you already have a site and you're just doing some maintenance, updates, or you're changing a lot, you go for Maintenance. The message that is being sent to the search engines will be different depending on which you choose here. We're going to select Coming Soon. The moment we do that, it will give us permissions like who can access. We're going to leave that one and then choose a page and whitelisted IP addresses. We're only interested in this one, choose a page. Now, currently we have no pages. We didn't create a page. We deleted all of that. So what this is actually saying is, for my Coming Soon page that people will see, I need you to give me a page. So let's click here on Save Changes because currently we don't have a page. And then we go to Pages and select Add New. This will be our first page. And close out all of this. And here in Title, we go ahead and call it Coming Soon. Ooh, a little too soon. There we go. And I'll select Publish here. And because this double publish I'm not fond of, I will deselect Always Show Pre-Published Checks. And then I will say Publish. And now go to our button here in the top left and select Edit with Brizy. We create our Coming Soon page. Coming Soon pages are super standard. I'll start building our page, create your own, and then what I will do is just bring in text for a heading that will say Coming Soon, and then under that I will bring in a countdown until the page will be ready. That you will find within the element sidebar under Content. And to bring in any element like I did with the text element, click, hold, and then drag it. And where you see those thick gray lines, you drop it where you need it to go. And there we go. These are the only two that I'm going to bring on the page. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Let's select the text. And to highlight all the text, I'll triple click and say Coming Soon. And then what I will do is just style it out manually from here. Let's say we're going to stick with Montserrat for now. And I'll give it a nice big size, around 64. And then let's put it on bold. And these I'm not going to worry about. Let's go ahead and center align it. And then for these guys, I want to change the color first. Let's put it on black. And this is only the number. The title below that, I also want to put it on black. I'm not going to worry about background borders and shadows. Let's set it up quickly here. So I have styles here for the countdown. You can have the label at the bottom, on the side, or no label. I'll keep it at the bottom. And then the date works with day, month, and then year. So currently it's set to the 6th of September. Let's just put in another one here. Let's make it somewhere in October, the 10th of October, 10/10, 10th of October, 2023. And you can set even the hour and the minutes and then the time zone. And there already is at +2. You also have advanced, which basically just determines whether you want all of these days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So if the seconds is a bit too much for you, you can remove that. but people like a ticking countdown, so we can leave that. To change the size, I'll select it, drag the handles a little bit, and then we go to the typography again to work on the size. So number, make that bigger, also 64. And then for our days here, you click on title. Let's make that 36. And I think there we go. And that's what we'll be adding as content for the coming soon page. Very, very simple. The other thing also to remember about a coming soon page is that it's usually a full height section. I'll go to the block settings in the top right corner, configuration, where you see height. Select the drop down and put it on full height. And it looks like this. A nice idea. Let's add a little icon here, like a coming soon. And we can also add a lottie element if we wanted to do that. Let's stick to an icon. I go to add elements and icons we're going to find under the essentials. Click, hold and drag, drop it at the top. Select the icon all the way to the left, select icon. And let's see construction, anything there. Let me see build. Yeah, build is better. And I'll choose the spanner and screwdriver. Americans, it's a wrench. And you can set the size 32. Let's make it bigger, custom. And I'll make it pretty big and change the color. And I'll use this color scheme that is currently there. That's our coming soon. At the bottom right corner, make sure you select update, which means it is saved. From here, we exit back into WordPress. And now that our coming soon page has been created, let's go to WordPress. We go again to Brizy, settings, maintenance mode. And now next to choose a page, you'll see the drop down appears. There's only one page and it's the coming soon page. So select save changes. However, while you're working within WordPress, you're not going to see the coming soon page because you are editing it and you don't want to be greeted with the coming soon. You still want to continue working with your site and being able to view it. So when you go to the front end, you're still going to see what would be, in this case, your blog post archive. But for a visitor, they will see the coming soon page. And to test that, you can simply just grab the URL, the domain name. I'll copy this, and then you go to the settings of your browser and you open an incognito or a private window and you paste it, and you will see the coming soon page. Splendid, gorgeous, nothing more to do here. And it's a very simple coming soon. And you know what you can do with a coming soon page? You can add a little bit video there to promote the product or whatever the service is that you're bringing, or you can add some data. And what many other people also do is already begin to collect leads here. So you add a form there, you add a button there so that people can submit their email, maybe give them some benefit in advance for subscribing to your waiting list when the site is ready. Those are great ideas of things that you can do. This is your coming soon page. This is how it will look. And when you're done with that, you can simply come again to your settings, maintenance mode, and then you remove the coming soon page. This you will have to do manually. So choose mode, and then you go ahead and select disabled. I'm going to put it back on disabled because I don't need it for this tutorial, but I think it's very important that you do this when you start with a new site just to get into the system already. And then when you do any upgrades or maintenance, you come and you put it on the maintenance one instead. And I've shown you how to create those pages. Great bananas. Now that you've created your coming soon page, let's go ahead and create our multi-pages. Multi-pages or page creation. In this chapter, I'm going to show you how to do that. And that's a WordPress function, and then what we do with the steps to get it into Brizy. I'll be building out today a standard 5-page website. So we go to our pages, and currently we have one page, and that is the coming soon page that we have created. I'll click on add new, and the first page that I'm going to create is my home page. You have to go through this process when you are doing things manually. Later in this tutorial, I'll show you how to do it with a one-click installation. If you are interested in pre-made templates, then you don't have to do any of this. But for people like me who often start everything from scratch, this is the way. All I have to do is click on Publish and then click on Edit with Brizy, and now this page will be created in Brizy. It's already updated and saved, and because you said Edit with Brizy, next time it will be very easy to get into Brizy. In the previous tutorial for Brizy Free, I had shown you here in the sidebar on the left at the bottom, when you go to page, you have the option to switch to the template default, which is the theme template. So if I select default, it's going to load generate presses template, which looks like this. It's got a sidebar, it's got a heading, there's a footer at the bottom, and this is how the canvas will display. But because Brizy Pro is a theme builder, we're not going to be using this. We'll go back here and we'll put it on Brizy template, which is a nice clean canvas. And by default, this is what you will get. So you don't need to mess around with it. You don't have to update, but if you're not sure, hit Control S, Command S to save your work, and we exit back to dashboard. Now, long ago, 2 or 3 years ago, whenever you got here, you still had the sidebar of WordPress and you could easily just click on add a new page. Now you need to click here on the W and you have to go back to your pages and then click on add new. What I do, I'll select home again, is that I go to my settings here with the 3 dots and I will deselect full screen mode. This is a personal preference again, up to you. By deselecting full screen mode, what happens now is I get the toolbar at the top where I can simply just go and select from their page. I don't have to click back to the pages. It just gives me that option. So the next page I will be creating is the About page. I'll publish that and remember to edit with Brizy. And once you've edited with Brizy, it's locked in. Next time you don't have to go through that process again. To the bottom left, go to dashboard and we are back here. And now I just go to the toolbar and I say add new page. The next one will be our services page. I'll click on publish, edit with Brizy. And then we exit back to the dashboard. And the next page I'll be adding is basically a blog page, but we will not be covering blogs in this tutorial. This is the news blog page. We'll be doing that in the following tutorial on blogging that will give you all the insights in how to do blogging with Brizy Pro and WordPress and templates. There we go. So we exit back to the dashboard and we create our last page, which is our contact page. I'll go to new page. And then this is contact. Publish. Edit with Brizy. And exit back to dashboard. Now, what I've done is I've created the 5 pages. And if I select all pages now, you will see that we have them and we have all the pages here with the quick link under each one, edit with Brizy. I don't need to go into the page editor again of WordPress. I am simply going to use this quick link in the future. If I want to make an edit to homepage, I simply select edit with Brizy from here. In the next chapter, we will have a review of how to build from scratch in Brizy. We have a lot of tutorials here at the Brizy Academy, also on YouTube, on each and every little thing in Brizy, all the different elements and how to use it. So this bigger course is not going to deep dive into all those smaller facets. But I do think we should just review how you build from scratch, because even though you are maybe using pre-made blogs or layouts, when you make changes, it's important to understand where those changes are coming from, where you can find the settings, and understanding how the builder works. Very, very important. And we'll do a page title build for the home page in the next chapter. In this chapter, let's do a quick overview of how to build within the builder. And we're going to create a page title section. I'll show you what I mean by that, which is actually very old school of how we designed websites. I'll start with the home page and I'll click on the quick link, edit with Brizy, and we go into the spinning wheels of the Brizy builder. The first thing you need to do whenever you bring something onto a page is to create a new block. And we do that by clicking on Start Building Your Page. The block manager opens, and because we are starting from scratch, we click here on Create Your Own, gives us an empty block. What I want to do here is have this section appear at every page at the top with the title of that page in it. So in this case, this is the home page, but we almost never put the title home on the home page. We'll probably put our product, our service, our company name in there. Let's do that, and I'll bring in a text element. I click on the plus, or I can go to the plus in the top, and that will open the elements drawer for us. Text element, click, hold, and drag. Anything that you do that is text related, whether it is a heading or whether it's paragraphs, you're going to use the text element for it. To interact with an element, select it and then select all the text in it by triple clicking or Control A, Command A. And I'm going to call this Bob's Photography. Important to remember that this is a heading 1. This is the name of your page, and this is the one case where you really should be using a heading 1. I go all the way to typography, and under my presets for typography, I will select heading 1. Now the styling for this, which is overpass, as well as the size, the weight, is all done with the global styling. And if you want to know more about global styling, go check the previous course on WordPress Starter with the free version of Brizy, where we show you all of this. The global styling is accessed here on the left side. You have your styles. You can change this out, and then you have your colors, your swatches, as well as your presets for the typography. Once I've set it to heading 1, which is over here, you also have your tablet and for mobile. So make sure you do that for your responsive displays as well. You can see here is the 46, the bold, line height, as well as the letter spacing. Any changes you want to make to heading 1, do not do it here, because once I go and increase the size here, let's say to 52, the typography setting now switches to custom. It has deactivated the heading 1 setting. It's not a heading 1 anymore. Let's put it back on heading 1. Then we go to the styling. We select heading 1. I'll leave it on overpass for now, and let's increase it to something like 56, just a little bit bigger. And I like to put my line height for headings on 1. Now I'll select it and I'll align it to the middle, and at least we have our page title there. Next thing you need for a page title is some background, and I'm going to bring in an image, but not just any image. I'm going to bring in the featured image. The featured image we usually put within the page editor within WordPress, but in Brizy, there's also a place you can do that. Go to the left and then select the page icon, and you will see here's the space for your featured image. Select that. You can drop your files, you can upload, or if you have already uploaded it to your media library, you can grab it from here. I'll go back to upload files, select files, and then here I have page title home. And I'll bring in this image of Bob with his camera, and I'll set this as the featured image. Now my featured image appears here, and you can see there's also a little blue dot. This is a selector. So if your page is constrained in vertical or horizontal because of the display of the device the viewer is using it on, then you can make sure that wherever the blue dot is, that's the part that will always be focused on. So I'll put it on his nose. Now that I've put the featured image there, I'll go up here to the block settings in the top right corner. And then second from the left, we have the background. And this is where I can bring in the image for the background. Now, what you may want to do is click on the image and then select it and bring it in. But you can get a little smart here. And instead of using the same image, you can just tell Brizy WordPress by clicking on these little server icons that you want to use the featured image. It's already there, featured image, and you can select custom, original, or the sizes down there. I'll go for original. And now I don't need to upload anything or redo all of that. It is already there, but I don't see anything. So let's update Control S, Command S, and preview button next to that, which is Control Shift P, Command Shift P, and go have a look on the front end if it does display. And it does display. Unfortunately, the focal selector at the moment will always focus at the top, but I wanted to show you that the featured image can be used in this way. So if you can make your featured image link to the background, all you need to do every time is just go to the block settings, to the background, and then change it here. In this event though, I'll delete that and I'll upload this one so that I can have better control over the focal selector. And there we have Bob, and I'll just drag that focal selector. Then I'll apply an overlay, select overlay next to it. I'll go to the white on the right. If I select it, it applies a solid white. It's opaque at 100%. Go to the slider on the right and we reduce it to around 80%. We add more padding at the top. Hover at the top where you see the blue bar. Click, hold, and drag, and I'll bring it to 100%. And if you cannot get it to that 100% you want it to go, All you need to do is go to the settings, configuration, styling, and then you have your padding settings here. At 100 pixels, you can add more. You just type it in. I'll go to the bottom padding and also drag that to 100 pixels. Remember, this is my page title. I only want it at the top. And then I want it to appear on each and every page similar to this. This is an extremely small nutshell version of how the builder works. But as we're going through the tutorial, as well combined with the previous course on the starter for Brizy Wordpress, you have a good understanding of how the builder works. You bring in elements, you go to the elements sidebar, you click, hold and drag to interact, select it, you get your context toolbar, all the settings appear here. You have configuration settings under the settings icon and styling and effects here in the sidebar on the right. To move things around on the page, you will simply click, hold and drag. If I bring in a line, here is our line, click, hold, you see the gray bars appear where I can drop it, and I'll drop the line. Select the line, go to the line settings, and I'll put an icon line effect that gives us a plus. Select the icon. Let's say camera. We should have a camera. Oh, many cameras we can choose from. But I'm looking, yeah, this one is nice. We have a camera there. Let's make the icon a little bit bigger. The spacing is that white space between the line and the icon. That's good. And you can even rotate it if you want to. Put the icon on the left, on the right. Let's put it in the middle. Now that I've done this, I sit back and, oh no, I think I really like this line with icon at the top. Click, hold, drag, and it turns into a blue dot. And I drop it there at the top. And after I've done that, I think, no, let's put it again at the bottom. And I'll click on the lines, grab the handles, just make it a little bit shorter. And there we have our photography icon. For the rest of these elements, I recommend you visit us at YouTube. Also go to brizy.io under support and have a look at all the tutorials we have there to show you what you can do with all these elements. And later in this course, we will focus more on these elements that are particular to the WordPress setup, where we have sidebar, shortcode, and also those for posts, which will be in the next tutorial for blogging within WordPress. That's the elements. That's how you build. In the next chapter, we're going to save this and see what we do with saved blocks and how we can use them. Welcome back to chapter 11 on our Brizy WordPress multi-page pro version. And this is the Brizy Academy. My name is JP. And in the previous tutorial, we had built out this page title section. And now what I want to do is I want to use this on each and every page I have on my site and just change out the name of the page title. How we do that is, first of all, we go ahead and save this section. Go to the top right of the block and you will see there's a little heart icon. Go ahead, save it. And once you click on it, going to give you this dialog here where it says sync your library into the cloud by connecting your account. Now, this is a very cool feature. You can actually save your blocks in the cloud. Yeah, as simple as that. And if you need to bring them in later in another instance of WordPress, you can do that. If you work with Brizy Cloud, that means you can create something here in WordPress and then you can sync it to cloud. You can use it there and vice versa. That will be true for 90% of what you build within Brizy, WordPress, and Brizy Cloud. Some of those features like the headers and stuff will not always translate between these two content management systems because it's different coding, it's a different setup. But you have this powerful feature that you can use your created blocks across these platforms and sync them and have them nicely available. However, if you're just setting this up and you have no requirement for that, you're going to do what we are going to do, and that is go ahead and click on the skip, and we skip it. Now it disappears and it's an anticlimax. What now? To check where it is, you go to add a new block, and with the block manager open, select saved, and you will see that that block that we've just saved appears here. There's also a little thumbnail for it. This has now been saved into the block manager or the library, and you can use it again. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and save this page. Let's click update. And then we exit in the bottom, go to dashboard. I'll select all pages. And the next page in our website will be our About page. So I'll select Edit with Brizy. With this now here, I'll select Start Building Your Page, click on Save, and I'll click on this Save block. What is important here, though, is that these two blocks that are identical at this moment are not linked to each other. They are total separate instances. So any changes I make here on the About page, it's not going to affect the block on the home page. And this way you can build out a nice design. It's like a placeholder or a wireframe that you can save and you can recall it anytime in the future if you want to use it. Because I want this consistency in how my page titles should look across my website, I'm going to use this format with the same white overlay, the same heading 1, the same typography, and the same icon there with the line. The only thing we need to do, or rather the only two things we need to do every time we do this, is to change the image. And the second thing we need to do is change the text. Settings, you'll see the HTML tag appears here, set to H1. In Brizy, your heading 1 will always connect to H1, heading 2, H2, etc. Then we change out the image here, delete this. And in this case, we are working with services. So Pops services. And we do the same for the featured image at the bottom. Select that. Ooh, I need to go. Is this services? Let me see. Yes. Let's just go back here to the block. That is what happens when you are hasty. There we go. Put the focal selector and update this page. Lovely. Go to dashboard. And we have 2 more to do. And I'm going to make a set through that. Let's do it. Next one is news, which will be the blogging tutorial for the next course after this one. Select Edit with Brizy. We bring in our save block. Go to saved. And then we change out the image. Delete and upload file. And this is news. Select. And let's set our focal selector. Make sure. There we go. And also set the featured image for this one. Oh, and we have to change the name here. This is news. Let's call this one latest news. And then update. And then the final one. Contact page. All pages. Contact. Edit with Brizy. And having done this 5 times now, you should be a pro in bringing in a saved block by now and understanding how it works. Let's change the image, and this is our contact. You see, Bob heavily features on all these images. He's got a very strong personality. And let's put that on his face, pondering the existence of life. And then we say here, contact me. And then we also set the featured image. Update. And that is how saved blocks work. If at some point you don't want this block in your library anymore, you can go ahead and delete it. So if I go to add a new block and I go to saved, you will see that we have this little delete icon. I can delete it. However, there's a few other things here that you also have to take note of. You can give this actually a title. We can call this one page title. And in the future, that will make it easier, especially if you are filtering it by tags. And that means you can also give it a tag. And we do that by going all the way to the right, select it, and then I'll type here page title, 1 word. Better to go for 1 word and click on plus. And there we have page title. Now in the future, if you have like a gazillion saved blocks here, and you want to just find those that you've created for page titles so you can reuse them, you go to filter by tag on the left and you select page title. There it is. I usually stick to 1 word or underscore in between. It's up to you how you want to do that. Like I've mentioned, if you want to delete it, you go ahead and delete here, and you can also download this block into a zip file and you can share it with others that can upload and use it as well. Just remember, the formatting is not downloaded, and the formatting is connected to the style set in the global styling for that specific project. We're done with the save blocks, and now that we've created this page title, let's begin with navigation. And this is where Brizy becomes a theme builder. Now I've got these 5 pages, but if I go to the front end here, which is currently my contact page, how do I get from this page to my home page, to my services, about and news page? For that, I will need to create a menu, and after that, I will have to bring in a block, a header block, and make it a global block so that we can use it on each and every page. That coming up next. Let's close these front-end instances of what we are working on, and from the builder, we are going to exit back into WordPress. And the reason for that is because we need to create the menu within WordPress. Now, if you exit from the builder to WordPress, your instance may not look like mine. And the reason for that is that setting I changed at the very beginning, which you can access here in the top right with the 3 dots at the options, and that is the full screen mode. If I activate the full screen mode, you will see that the navigation sidebar on the left and the WordPress toolbar at the top disappear. And that gives you just this page editor view. I like to have those two, so I usually deactivate, personal preference. But if you want to work in the full screen mode, I just show you again where that feature is, because you may say, hey, how did you get there so quickly? And I need to go through 2 more steps. Hey, you jumped those 2 steps. I prefer just the 1. From here, under appearance, we have menus. And that's why we decided to go for a theme that allows us to easily create a menu from this navigation section. Select the menu, and in WordPress or in any content management system, you need to go and create a menu first. But here's a strange thing. There is a menu here already, menu 1. I have no idea where this comes from. I guess GeneratePress very graciously created this for me all by themselves. So you can see there is a menu name here at the top called menu 1, and the page is already included here. Maybe this is a new WordPress feature. Usually you have to create everything from the beginning. What we are going to do is first bulk select them all and remove them. And then I still have to go and select them. And then click here on remove selected items. Then here next to the menu name, I'm going to call this my top menu. This is my name for it. And I'll click on create menu. Now that I've created it, I can go and add the pages that I want. And you can see we have 6 pages here because we've also created a coming soon page at the beginning. We don't want that. So I'll click on select all and then deselect coming soon and add to menu. Then we arrange them, home page to the top, and then next to that is about, drag it to the left. And then we have services and news, and there's the contact. If you are using a theme, like in this case, GeneratePress, you will have the option to assign the location here. We are building the theme by scratch with Brizy Pro, so you don't need to worry about any of this. We're going to do that within the builder by ourselves. But to create the menu, you have to do that here. Let's save our menu. And that's it for the menu. Now we go back to our pages and we go into our home page, and that will take us to the next video where we will be creating our header and bringing in the menu in our header to allow for navigation. Welcome back to our WordPress Brizy Pro course. And we're building out a 5-page multi-page with the usual suspects: homepage, about, services, news, and contact us. And what we need now is a header at the very top of our page from where we can do the navigation and maybe put in a little bit of call to action, a logo, and also maybe a contact form, something like that. In most cases, if you have used WordPress before, you will always move towards wanting to create a template for this kind of setup. You don't need to do that with Brizy Pro. You do need the templates for WooCommerce and blogging. But in this case, when you're working with just this navigation, you're going to do everything by creating the block and then in the next video, assigning global block with conditions. We are going to create the header block first, and we're going to create it from scratch. Go to add a new block, and from our blocks manager, on the left, you will see at the bottom under categories, we have 2, headers and footers. And we're going to click on header. Footers we'll get to back later. Here are a few pre-made ones for you, and I'm going to keep it as simple as possible with the kind of standard header that I'm very fond of. And that is this one here on the top left, the first one. Select it and it drops the block onto your page, and you don't want it here, you want it at the top of this page. You go to the sidebar on the left, second from the top, select Reorder Blocks, hover over it and drag that header block to the top. Now the header block looks like a specially designed header block, but it's not only specially designed header block, it also has a few other features that you will not find in the other blocks. One of them is a sticky feature, which we will cover. And the second function is that even though when I brought it in, it was below my page title, when I go to my other pages, that this block is already at the top. So that's very nice. The header block is assigned to the top, and I get the sticky functionality as well. Here you have a logo. You can bring in your own logo. You select it, you delete it like you would delete a picture, and you bring in your own logo and put it there. You can see we have two columns here. This column on the left with the logo, and this column here says select the menu from the element options. As I hover over it, go to the top right corner where you see the gray little button with the white chiffon pointing upwards and select it. And this will tell you that this is a menu element. This is a pro menu element. In the free version, it's very different. You can bring this in by yourself by going to Add Elements, and then under Essentials, you will find the menu element. Go ahead, drag it, and then drop it below this one. Yeah, we're going to have two, but they're exactly the same. And drop it. The only difference is going to be that as I bring this one in, it's going to read that WordPress already has a menu, which I just created in the previous chapter, and it's going to log that one automatically. If I go to the settings and all the way to the left where you have the menu settings, you will see that the menu selected is top menu, and that's the only menu we have. If I go to the top one, which was inserted by default, I can still also put it to top menu. It will give me two menus. The styling here will be different than this one because this is a preset applied. Let's delete this one, select, go to the right and delete, and work with the one that we've brought in. Let's see what we can do. First, go to the top right, all the way to the left for the menu, and we see that we select the menu here. You can make it a hamburger if you need it, which we do for responsive styling. And you can also change the orientation. That's especially cool if you have a sidebar. You see, you can put it on top of each other. We'll keep it horizontally spaced. And then the spacing in pixels is the distance between the menu links. Let's align it within the container, which is this column. You can put it on the right, left, or the center. I'm going to drop it on the right. And then you have your normal settings here, like if you want to add padding to it, margins, and you can also add effects like entrance, hover, and scroll. No, don't do that with the menu element. To change the menu elements themselves, select any of them, and then go again to the hamburger, and this is a mega menu. We'll talk about mega menu in the future. You can add an icon. So if I want to make this a home, let's type and look for a home. I prefer a glyph. Let's see what Font Awesome has in store here. Also a home. So let's go back to glyph, and I'll grab the home icon. You can add some spacing, take it away. You can decide if you want to do that. And the icon is work on a menu link by menu link basis. So you click on each of them if you want to add icon. I think that's a little bit overboard. You can have the home there if you want that. Typography is going to be the settings for that. Here it is set to the style of button. I think let's go and create a new style just for this. Go to the global styling options. Look at the bottom where it says add new. Select that. And then from the presets, scroll to the bottom. It's added at the bottom. Triple click to select the name, or Control A, Command A. Let me do that. And we call this menu links. Now I've created this. So I'll go back to the menu link, go to typography, and all the way at the bottom menu links. And already those settings that I've made are being applied. Let's go again there. Scroll to the bottom where you see menu links. Let's see, put it on, I'm going up. Let's put it 16. Normal weight, let's put it on semi-bold. All right. And the line height, does it matter? I'm going to put the line height on 1. And now whenever we make changes for our menu, we can just come and do the typography settings here under this global style link. Let's go back to home and select home. And then next will be our color. So we have a number of things to play around with here. We have text, we have background, and we have border. Let's jump to border. So let me just show you what I want to achieve with the border. Often when you have menu links, you have a line at the top and a line at the bottom to show you, those items that you've selected. That is done by giving it a border. So the first thing we'll do is go to size here. I'll select it and I'll type in 1. 1 pixel is enough. You can see we have it around all of them, not where I want it. Then with this icon that's linking all the borders, I'll click on it to decouple it. And then from here, I start at the top, right, bottom, left. This is CSS order. I'll tab from here and then I'll say a 0, tab again, and I'll say 0. And now I only have those at the top and the bottom. But currently it's applying it to all of them, which is what I don't want. I only want it to apply to the one that is active. So what we'll do is we'll put this back on no border. So I'll select none. You see we have these 3 little labels here on the left. I'll go to the next one that says hover. And then with hover, we do the same again. I'll select the border at the top. I'll put it on 1. Tab, border at the bottom, put it on 1. And now we have it at the top and at the bottom. Select the one below that, which is active, and we do the same. Border 1 pixel at the top, border 1 pixel at the bottom, and it's on, we'll leave it on that color. Let's put it back on the normal, and you will see the one that's active is the home page. And as I hover over these other guys, those lines appear. Those lines don't look good. I need to add padding. So for that, I will select settings, and then for padding, let's link them. And I'll just increase the padding like so. You can see it looks much, much better. Now it's starting to look like the menus you are used to. Maybe I want to add a little bit more padding at the top, so I'll put this on 15 all around. Then I'll go and delink them, and at the top, let's do that at 17, give a little bit more space at the top. Let's see. Nice. We've created that menu. And what else can we do here? Let's select about. Let's change the color. So the highlighted currently, this is the normal state. This is the hover state. Let's put it on the purple for hover for the text. And then for the active state, let's put it on this teal color. Now, as I hover over it, you will see it turns purple. And you can also change the color of the border to coincide with that. And the active page, which is home page here, is this one. We will still look at how to make this header look good in responsive views for your tablets and for your mobile, and also what is a sticky header. Before that, what we need to achieve is to make sure that this header appears on each and every page. We're going to do that with global blocks. The reason we do that is so that you don't have to go and add it manually on each and every page. The second reason we do that is because with a global block, when you make any changes to this header, it's going to reflect across all the headers they are synced. That's in the next lesson. In this chapter, we're going to work with global blocks and make our header a global block so it can appear on all our pages and sync. With this current header we've created, go ahead and save your page, Control-S, Command-S, and we preview it in a new tab. This takes us to our home page. Here we have the page title at the top, and then we have the menu that we've created. Very nice. And it's currently highlighted in green for the home page. And then next, I will select About, and it takes us to the About page. And there is no header on this page. Now, if you've worked with this for a long time, you'll understand that this header has no idea that it has to be on this page. We haven't added it to this page. In most cases, in many WordPress instances, you actually create what we call a template, where you create the header on the template and you assign the template to all pages and it will appear. In Brizy, we don't have to do it this way. I'll close this preview for us at the front and we only leave the builder open. Go to the header block at the top, all the way to the left, and you will see the option Make It Global. Select it, and once you select it, you will get this pop-up screen that appears. In the free version and the course we did prior to this one is locked. because it is a pro feature. Conditions tells this global block on which pages it should appear and which not. It starts with the instruction that it is included on the home page only. You can include it on all pages, or you can select on which pages you want it to appear. We want it currently to appear on all pages, so I can say include pages all, or I can simply say include, go to pages, and you have the option for all. This means it will include it on every post and page that I create in WordPress. If you are creating a blogging site or WooCommerce site where you have different headers for different functionality, you don't want to use this one. You rather will go to pages and then say all. I'll put it on all for us because we don't need more, and then select save. Before I click outside here, also note that you can add more than one display condition. If I want this to appear on all my pages except, for example, the coming soon page, very important, click on add new display, click exclude, pages, and coming soon. You remember we put the coming soon page to appear for new visitors coming to our site. We definitely don't want these links to appear at the top. We want it to be excluded. We want that page just to be like a PowerPoint slide. And that's why we say exclude in this instance. Remember that one. And you'll also have to come back once you have deactivated that and maybe just remove this one. I did click save. I'm not always sure about this one because the save stays highlighted. I keep thinking I should click it a million times. And then I'll also just go ahead and click save here at the bottom, which is update. Now go ahead and click preview. We are back to where we were previously with the home page. Select about, and there is the header at the top. Select services, header at the top, news, and you get the drift. We're going to have the header at the top. Now, what does it mean to work with a global block? Let's go back into the builder and just understand what the global block will do. If I make any changes here now, I go to my global block. I'll select the color, which is overlay. I'll put it to this gray color. Go ahead and click on update. Back to the front, and it's currently on our news, still the white background. If I reload this page, you're going to see it's going to come with the gray background. That is the great thing about the global blocks, is that I can make that one change only on one page, and it will sync to all the pages where that global block is. Up next is the responsive design for the header section for mobile and tablets. We often use the expression mobile first. And when we say mobile first, we mean that when you design a website, you should really think of how the user will see your website on a mobile device. For many novices new to website making, this is often a surprise. They think you just create a website and it's done. Little do we know that there are actually almost 3 versions of the website that you have to create, but it's all done within the builder. So it's super easy. We jump back into the builder. We are still on the home builder page. And what we need to do now is to look at this page as if we are viewing it on a tablet. That is done with the responsive design option here in the bottom left where you see the little monitor icon. Select it and select tablet. And my screen goes a little bit narrower. And look at what happened to my header. My menu turned into a hamburger icon. Hey, is that what you want? The answer is probably yes. In many cases, this is what you want. You're going to run into this cluster problem over here. I want to select that menu, but look at all those icons in the way, and settings can be a little bit difficult. If you have this problem and you cannot work with the elements, and this often happens, just add a little bit space while you are editing in terms of padding to the column. So I'll select the column, and then the padding on the right is currently set to 15. I'll just increase this a lot. I'll bring it back to 15 in a while, just to get to my heading element. Now, as I hover over it, you see we have the menu settings here, not heading, menu settings. And there's a second thing that's going to happen. So the first thing we're going to do is select this, and you will see we have make it hamburger. If I unselect it, we have the normal menu, but I'm going to leave it on the hamburger menu. And then we have drawer position. What is the drawer position? Go over to the icon of the hamburger and select it. And you have this opens, which is the drawer. This is where all your links will appear. Currently, the drawer is on the left. If you want it to appear on the right, then you go again to the settings of the element here and put it on the right. You can increase the size of the menu. I'll put it on 24, make it a little bit bigger. And let's click again on it to bring up the drawer. With the drawer open, you also have control here over how it looks. Click on any of these and you will see that you have control over background images. Again, you can change the typography, but you will see it is set to button. If you want to change it, and let's say you put it on menu links, all will update to menu links. And changing this, you go to the settings here, all the way to the bottom, menu links, select tablet, and make those changes here. Let's go back to our drawer. You also have the background color of the drawer, and you can also align it. And this is for your tablet. Click outside, and remember, once you are done here with this, just go back to your column, and let's put that back on 15 pixels. That's in case you cannot find those settings. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. You see, I just cannot find that gray dot for the settings. Tablet is done. Go to the setting on the left and select mobile. And we're going to do the same for the mobile. I'll add a little bit of padding again on the right. And excuse me if I sometimes say left and I mean right. Something I've had a problem with since I was a child. And it seems I haven't lost it yet. Let's go to the element. Same settings again. Click on it to open the drawer. And there we have the settings. Select it. Go to T for typography. And let's put it on menu links to change it up so it's the same as the global styling. And this is how you make sure that this header will look good on tablet and mobile devices. When you're done, we go to our column settings and we put our padding on 0 as it was. And we can just cycle up again and take us back to the desktop. Save our page, and then in the next chapter, let's go through the block manager again and just build out a very quick page here for Bob with the pre-made blocks so you can have a look again at the block manager, all the categories, the 2 kits we have there, and how to bring that onto your page and work with that so you can quickly build out a page with your pre-made blocks. Somewhere in the beginning of this course, I showed you how to build something from scratch. We did it with the Coming Soon page, and we also did it with this page title at the top, as well as with the header block. But there are so many pre-made, ready-made blocks that you can use, as well as templates, that often I go dig in those first before I even try and conceive my own idea. And as the future of AI is coming closer and closer, at some point you don't even have to think about that anymore. For now, we're going to go into Add a New Block, click on that, and this gives us the block manager. If you did the previous course, you will know that in the free version, there's a lot of these blocks that are locked behind a pro label. Because you have the pro label, you have gratis entrance to all of this, and you can use them to your heart's content. There are many, and they are great. You're going to find usually something here that you can use. Often I really have that desire to create something from scratch, and as I sit here, I think, oh, well, it's already there. Do I just want to prove it to myself that I can do it from scratch? Then go ahead, spend that extra 10 or 20 minutes, or click and you've done it within 2 minutes. It's up to you. You have the categories here on the left, so you can cycle through hero, sections, galleries, call to actions. Just remember that you actually have 2 kits to work with. At the top, you have kit number 2. And kit number 1 is the forgotten cousin we often overlook. This was the original set that came out with Brizy, the very, very first release, and just blew us all away because it was actually fairly new in the world of website building. I still like these a lot. They are great wireframes. They have a little bit different category settings, like instead of hero, it's called a cover. But some of this, like the features, that's very text orientated. I really enjoy coming here and selecting them. You also have styles for both Kit 1 and Kit 2, giving you light and dark styles that you can work with. From my Kit 1, I'll leave it on light. I'll go to features. And I think this is the first thing I'll do is drop this one in here under Bob. And you will note that even though in Kit 1 everything was in blue, we have different fonts and different colors as it is drawing all of this from our global styling, which is Overpass. As I scroll down, note that there is a menu that pops out at the top, which is the sticky menu. I've brought in this feature. Let's bring in another one. This time I'll go to Kit number 2 and I'll say call to action. Let's make this a dark one just to spice it up a little bit. This one over here. And I'll change out the images. Let's bring in a theme. I'll put it on light this time. This one. Next, let's see what we can do here. A gallery. Yep, let's bring in some gallery. And then below this, I'll bring in a testimonial, but I'm going to do that dark. Let's see Kit 1, if they have testimonials dark. Testimonials. And I'll bring in these one, partners and clients. They look pretty nice. Good. And then we go back to Kit 2. And I'm mixing and matching here because this is awesome. I'll put it on light again, put it on pricing. Let's choose this pricing over here, pricing plans. And then finally, I'm going to bring in a contact section, contact. Let's put it on dark. And I'll choose this one, which is very standard. I like to keep it very, very standard. And now I've brought in all these pre-made blocks. What you need to do next is, like we did in the previous course, is change out the content. Do the text, do the images, do the icons, look at the specific elements that come in here that's maybe not those common elements like countdowns, numbers, buttons here that you will have to update, and make sure that they all look good and change them, and do that for all the pages by bringing in the content. Let's click update and then look at how to bring in a full page instead of doing it block by block. We've done this for the home page, so I'll click go to dashboard in the bottom left corner, and then we select our about page. Go to all pages, about, and click on edit with Brizy. And instead of now looking at all those different blocks, I'll click on add a new block and then select layouts. Again, we have categories over here. So what will this be? Hobby? Do we have something for health and beauty, sport, repair? I don't think photography is considered a sport. I'm not sure if there's a sport one here. I'm not sure. Let's see, portfolio. We can put it on the portfolio. Probably something here in terms of photography for portfolio. I'm going down, and I'll select this one here, interior. And then you see we have 5 pages here, home page, about, details, portfolio, and contact. I'm going to select about, and then I'll click on import this layout. What it's going to do is import the entire layout, and you will see that it will also import the header block at the top, which is what we don't need. This is because it's part of a complete template, and you will need to go and remove that as well as the footer that we've imported with it. So on this page then, make sure you delete this one, which is the header. I'll do that again. Then I'll scroll down to the bottom and I'll delete the footer that came in because we'll add our own footer very soon. And this is how you can bring in an entire layout. You can still bring in pre-made blocks in between, and you can switch them around. If you feel that they're not in the order you want this one on top of that one, go to reorder and just drag them around in the order that you think they should go. And then, of course, change out the content for the site that you need. And this is how you do all of that by bringing in the content, build out your site, and very soon you'll be a website to be super proud of. Well, we've done that now, and you have a good idea of how that works within the block manager. With this, let's go back to the block manager. You now have looked at blocks, layouts. We saw at the beginning where you can get your saved blocks, and you also have access to the global blocks, which is the header that we had used previously. Once you've added the global block to a page, you cannot add it a second time. And that's why you get this little indication that says and warns you, dude, you can't add it again. And that's it. That's the block manager. This is how you build out pages, how you do it from scratch, how you do it with pre-made blocks, and how you do it with templates. Happy building. And now that we've covered that, let's bring in the last element for our website pages, and that will be the footer. Footers go at the bottom. They contain quick links, a little bit of contact information, and sometimes copyright and all that kind of jazz. Let's scroll to the bottom and add a footer to this page, add a new block, and instead of creating it from scratch, under blocks, you go to the left and select footers. This looks very unique. It's kind of just pre-made blocks. Let's select a very simple footer. It's this one here on the far right, last. And again, it's going to tell you select a menu from the element options, go to the element settings, and then to the left menu, and we put it on top menu. That's it. And then you have these icons where you're going to have to put in, Twitter, you have to X that one. You have these icons, and all you need to do with them is go to the link option and add the URL to which they will link. You can change it out. Let's say you want to bring in TikTok for this one. Let's take it away, TikTok. And there's no glyph for it, but I think Font Awesome has a TikTok. Yes, it's got TikTok. And we changed the color. I'm not sure what the color is, but I think it's something like black, right? And there we go. So that's how you're going to work with the links for these icons. You can change the size. You can bring in new ones. Once you set this up for your footer, you need to also tell this footer that it has to appear on each and every page. And we do that with global blocks. Go to the block settings of the footer all the way to the left and select Make it Global. Your conditions appear again, and we say we want it on all, except add new condition. We do not want it on page that is coming soon. And we click on Save. And then we close it, and I'll update this page. Click on Preview so we can have a look at how this footer will look at the bottom of the page and whether the navigation will work perfectly. This is the page we've created. Scroll, 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 scroll. And here at the bottom, let's select, where are we? Which page is this? This is the About page. So let's select Contact. And on the Contact page, we have basically no content. We just have the header at the top, the page title section, and then the footer. And you'll add your own content there as you're building out the page. And that's how you work with the footer. Back in the builder, if you need to access the footer, you go to the block manager. Under global blocks, you will see the footer appears here. If you want to delete the footer from all your pages, don't delete it from here. This here is basically just the manager. It saves everything here. You don't make changes to how it works on the page here. You have to do that within the builder. So close this. And if you want to delete it, go to the settings all the way to the left, select display conditions, and all you need to do is click on delete and delete, and it will disappear. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep that. But that's just a reminder as to how you remove them from the page and all the pages across the site. Just want to remind you that we are working towards a one-click installation of one of the pre-made templates within Brizy that comes with the Pro version. There's a few in the free version, but in the Pro version, you get an abundance of super duper delicious goodies that may just save you so much time because you don't have to go and create this from scratch. You don't have to set up the headers. You don't have to set up the footers. It's just perfectly well packaged and designed for you. And that is the one-click installation of the templates. One of the things I've greatly focused on in these tutorials, on whether it is the free version or the pro version, is that you get a lot of pre-made, ready-to-use stuff. And I'm a big supporter of that because it saves a lot, especially if you see a pre-made block that fits exactly what you had in mind. And I know for many of us, sometimes taking something someone else already made feels a little bit like cheating. It is not. It saves time. And most visitors, the majority, 99.99%, do not know that you've actually used something that's a pre-made block. Remember, when you go to a website, people want information. The other one that we've looked at now in this tutorial are also the pre-made layouts. All those pages that we've imported, we did it manually. If you're going for a full page by page by page, that's just not efficient to do that one by one. And within Brizy, there is a one-click installation that makes it much quicker. In the next video, we will go through the one-click, but I want to bring you to Brizy.io. And then at the top, you can go to templates and then select templates. You will also see that there are blockades and pop-up designs. Showcase, I think that is for people who have created their websites with Brizy. So if you want to see what people are doing with Brizy out there in the wild, go to templates and then select showcase. Let's focus on the templates. And we have just added 26 brand new spanking sparkling templates that you can use with brand new categories like cryptocurrency to keep up to date with emerging trends. I like this one, Ski. I really like this design. There are many new ones. This is a tattoo shop called Heart. And what you have here are these ready-made, full, complete designed websites for you. If you are into yoga or wellness, what you do is you click here on Preview Design. You will see there's an option that says Start with this design. This is for Brizy Cloud. When Brizy Cloud users do the one-click installation, they do it through here. For Brizy WordPress users, you're going to do it directly from WordPress. To preview it, you select here, and I'll also show you how you can preview it directly from WordPress in a moment. And that's it. Here you have the yoga website. Everything here ready for you just to import. And you have a header at the top already. At the bottom, you have a footer. And then you have pages. Many times, these will just be one-pagers like this one. Other times, it will be multi-pages. And of course, we'll be installing a multi-page, not the one-pager. Go to Brizy.io. Go to the template section. You can filter through these categories. If you're more interested in something like business, agency, and you want to see what is there, then this is the place to go. Have a look at what is there and also make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel as we showcase these quite often. Now that we've seen the templates and where you can access it at Brizy.io, let's go back into a new installation of WordPress, brand new. I'm going to do that also in TasteWP, and I'm not going to show how to set that up again. You can see that in the second chapter, how I set it up within TasteWP. Then we do the one-click installation next. And here we go for the one-click installation. As I've mentioned, this is an entire new installation of WordPress. You can use the previous one that we've set up. It can override everything that we did there, but I want to start with a fresh installation of WordPress so that you can see how to do this one-click installation of the templates. I've already set up everything. I've cleared my post, I've cleared my pages, I set up my permalinks. I've installed both Brizy Free and Brizy Pro. The only thing I've not done is I haven't changed out the theme. I've kept the 2023 theme. So we will be using that just to show you that it can work. A reminder that on the left in the navigation sidebar, you get your Brizy label, and under that you will see you have the starter templates. I also recommend that you just go again and go to the Getting Started page, because here you will have that access also to view the starter templates, and a few tutorials here to help you getting the page set up and the link to the Academy. Let's go to the navigation sidebar in WordPress and select Starter Templates. And this is going to give you exactly what you just saw at the Brizy.io website. You see at the top, you have your filter between free and pro. Because you are using pro, it really doesn't matter to filter it via these two filters. The categories appear here as a drop-down. You can see we have business, travel, portfolio, and so it goes on. Like before, if you see any website that you are interested in, like this Alpine Lodge, you have the live preview, which will open a new tab in your browser, and that will give you the live demo. You can go through that and you'll see nice page again. You have your header at the top, scroll all the way to the bottom. Here you have your footer, and then you have your different pages. This is a multi-page website, this Alpine Lodge. So that's where you go through the ones that tickle your fancy. And then if you see one, I like this Brandio, what you then do is you select Install. It will give you two options: keep existing content and delete existing content. As I'm working with a brand new version of WordPress, I don't need to actually care about which one I choose. It's not going to make a difference. But even though a lot of starter templates give you the option to keep your existing content and install this over it, or rather in addition to that, I do find that every now and again you may run into a little bit of a hiccup or incompatibility that you're not sure where it is coming from. If you intend to use a starter template, I recommend you try and do that at the very beginning, like I'm doing here, instead of building a website out and then adding the starter template later. If you have no choice, go ahead and do it, but rather try and do it at the beginning. I'll go for this one, delete existing content, and then I'll click on install template. Depending on how big the template is you're importing, as well as your server speed, this can take a little time, or it can take usually less. And this happened in real time, so no jump edits here. That was quite quick, and we select thank you. To view, go to the top and click on your site. On this site I've called Brizy Pro. And here is our site. Now that we've installed it, let's have a look in the next chapter at what we have here and also what happened in the back end, and a few tips I want to give you just to make sure that you have all your ducks in a straight row. Welcome back to our Brizy multi-page tutorial. My name is JP, and we have installed this Brandio multi-page site with a one-click installation with Brizy Pro in WordPress. A reminder that most of these templates, multi-pages and more will be pro, they will be locked. So if you are ever interested in using starter templates, the answer is go pro. We've installed this with just one click, but what exactly has it done in the back end? Let's jump back into WordPress and see what we have here. Now, I do not believe there are any posts here. We still have the Hello World post. If I go to my pages, you will see that Brizy installed the 5 pages that we need here. One of the things you have to go and check at this moment for the older ones, and it's being updated so this can disappear, is the slug. Now, the slug is that little extra end to the website address. All I'm going to do is click on quick edit, and you see here it says slug demo-about. Now, if you view this page on the front end, and let's do that, I'll go to the front end, and you look at the address, you will see, because I'm using TasteWP, this is the address, and then at the end it says demo-contact. You don't want it to say that, you just want it to say contact. Not all of these templates have this slug extension, but go in there and remove the demo and click update, and just do it for the others as well. This is a slight little leftover from when these were first made. The new ones do not have it, and these are also being updated and removed. So maybe by the time you watch this tutorial, it may already have been removed, but I recommend that you just going through these extra steps. Yes, they are unnecessary, but at this moment, it's the way it is. Now let's go and preview another version of the front end. I'll just Control Command click. It opens a new front end for us, and then we go to contact, and you will see that it will update the URL for the contact page to just contact. There you see, contact. It just says contact and not demo contact. Also note that if you go to the media library and you select library, all those images have been imported for you. When you bring in your own content later, remember to come back here and remove these images so you just clean up your space very nicely. Let's have a look in the next few videos at the WordPress elements that come with Brizy. Welcome back. We are going to look at the shortcode element, which is specific to WordPress and where you find it within Brizy. Go to our pages, all pages, and then I'll select any of them and edit with Brizy. In this case, I selected the home page. Shortcode is something that is so ingrained in the world of WordPress that if you're a WordPress user, before builders came onto the market, you definitely know what a shortcode is. Now, a shortcode usually comes from another installation, another plugin, and it gives you a code that you can bring into your page where it will display that plugin's functionality. In this case, we don't have anything, but shortcodes are often generated by forms and other plugins that have displays like calendars or directories. I just want to show you quickly that it is here in Brizy in case you need a shortcode. What you do is you go to the Add Elements on the left, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you see you have WordPress here. In fact, you actually have a few more WordPress functions here under Single, and that is for a single post. You'll see Feature, Title, Excerpt, Info, Breadcrumb, and Post. You can also use this on your normal pages. If I bring in Title and I just drag it there onto the page, this is going to give me the page title, which in this case is Home. So these dynamic elements, strictly speaking, can be used on your pages as well as your post pages. Shortcode is the one we just quickly want to point out. There you see it at the bottom. Click, hold, and drag the shortcode to wherever you want to display it on the page. Select it, and then to the left, you go and select the WordPress icon. And this is where you will copy the shortcode and paste it here. If you have no other plugins installed that use shortcodes, you're not going to use this ever. But for those cases where you do, remember this is where you find the shortcode. In our next chapter, we look at animations, entrance, and hover. A lot of people love animations, and we're going to look in this chapter at how you can bring a little bit of movement to your page. We have two kinds of animations on the page. In a way, there's actually three, and we'll look at scroll effects in the next chapter. But in this one, let's talk about entrance animations. Entrance animations is as people scroll on the page, those elements will appear. It can start at a block level. So if I go to the block and I select settings, and then you see we have effects, it will open the sidebar on the right, and we have the effects for the block. Now the block will only have entrance animations. It won't have hover animations. We can select fade, and you will see that the entire block will fade. If that happened too quickly, there's a little button here at the bottom that says replay animation. Select it, and you will see the fade happen again. Let's do something a little bit more spectacular so that we can visualize it better. And then you have settings here. Each one of them will have different settings depending on which one you choose. You have direction up, you have direction left, bottom, etc. And then the duration, how long it takes for this animation to play out, as well as when this animation appears on page load. So if it's 2 seconds, what it basically means is once the page is loaded, it will wait 2 seconds before that animation happens. You see, I just played the replay. That can take quite a long time. And then a button for which you have to be extremely cautious, and that is infinite animation. This will repeat that animation over and over and over. And you don't want that. Very annoying. There are cases, maybe like an alert that you want on your site, but that we're going to do is something like a button. That's how you do block animations. I'll select none to remove the animation from the block. The other thing that you also have to take into consideration is that animations don't usually work very well on mobile devices. If I have an animation here and I go to my mobile, it's important that when you select it, that you put it on none here. I really recommend not use animations on mobile. People scroll very quick on a mobile device. And if it is important information, they may just scroll over it before the animation has actually occurred. So that's why animations in Brizy are responsive. You can set it independently on the different devices. On an element basis, you can start at column. Columns also have animations. So we select the settings, effects, and now you see there's entrance as well as scroll. On containers, you do not see the hover animation, but you will have the scroll, which we'll cover in the next tutorial. Let's select bounce here, and you will see that the container with all its contents will take that animation. This one is rotate. Let's go for a next one. Let's do the same. Effects. And what you do when you bring in different animations is that you slightly increase the delay of all of them so that one occurs first, then the next one, and then the next one. Once you jump down to element level, I'll select this logo. We go to the settings. You will see that we have entrance, hover, and scroll. Now we know what entrance animation is. Hover is when somebody takes the cursor and hovers over it. Then you have animations that will happen. You have wobble. See how it wobbles. Pulse. Buzz. And a few others. The tip here is that you have to remember, if I take my cursor and I move over this icon and it moves, I expect it to do something. And what we usually expect it to do is to be clickable. So I don't recommend that you use hover animation if that isn't a link to be interacted with. If you have this icon and you add hover animation to it, make sure that it is actually an icon that you want to link to another page or maybe a file download or a pop-up, something like that. Otherwise, it's very strange to have something move on the page that doesn't do much. That is my opinion when you have hover, because you have your cursor moving, it hovers when you hover over it, so the expectation is something will happen. And that is what hover is. So remember, the hover will only work on a element basis. Here I have text. Let's select hover skew. So as I hover over the text, it slightly skews. That's really, really slightly. Let's do something a little bit more extravagant, like scale. There we go. Again, once I do that, what is your expectation? You would probably think you can click on it. Once you do it, make sure that the purpose here is that it is actually a link and it takes you somewhere. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about scroll effects, which can be a little bit daunting. It can be interesting on your website, but this is the one animation you have to be very, very careful of when you use it. Let's do that in the next chapter. Scroll animation or scroll effects. I think it is scroll animation effects. Let's do that. You can do that on a container basis or an element basis. Let's find something that we haven't yet put anything on over here. I'll click on the column, settings and effects, and remember there are shortcut keys to quickly go into the effects. Let me show you. Select the container and then hit Control-K, Command-K on your keyboard. And that will open the sidebar with your effects. Now this is entrance, you can do that, but you can also do scroll, and you see that we have in total 8 over here. Now this is a little bit of a trial and error, and you'll have to go through them and really think carefully what is the purpose and how are you going to use it. For text and other important information that people actually need to read and pay attention to, I discourage you intensely, strongly, not using scroll animation. Don't do it. Scroll animation should be used on design elements so that it can just bring a little bit of flair and movement to your site. Let me show you what happens if I select vertical here. And now when I scroll on the page, you see that text scrolling vertically up and down. There is no point in doing that when you want people to read it because it is very, very distracting. And that's why I caution against using it on text. A design element is something like this one over here. You see those dots in the back, but this is part of the image. When you have something like that in the back, then it becomes okay to have these scroll animations. Otherwise, on this page, I really don't see anywhere you want to include scroll animations. But let's have a look at what they can do so you have a good idea of what scroll animations are all about. So we looked at vertical, horizontal. Of course, when I scroll, you see it moves horizontally. And again, if you click on the animation that you've selected, you're going to have things like direction, left to right or right to left, you have the speed at which it will move. If I move it to 10, you'll see it moves really quickly. And if I move it down to something like 1, it's going to move slower as I scroll across the page. Here you have one of the most confusing sliders in history ever. And sometimes I figure it out, sometimes I don't. But these are limitations on the movement. So if I drag them a little bit in, you're going to see that where this one moves has been restricted. I say that, I have no confidence in that, but that's more or less how it works. You can add also multiple scroll effects. So here we have horizontal. Let me also select rotate. Now, instead of just moving horizontally, it's also going to rotate that element. And again, no point in doing that if you need people to read it, right? So what you want is a design element like an arrow or a nice little picture. Pictures can do that. So let's select this picture here, which is probably also not the best one for a scroll effect because it's got all these elements with it. And let's select scale in this case. So as I'm scrolling, you will see how that scales. That's a little bit disruptive, but as I said, this current page that we are working with isn't made at all for these kind of scroll effects. They have their place, and if you do find it, I recommend that you use it very cautiously because they can be very disruptive, and you're going to spend a lot of time setting them up, and in the end, people are going to scroll right over them. I reference links in this video. And with Brizy Pro, you get a nice feature, and that is to download stuff from anything that can be linked. Let's see how you can download stuff in the next chapter. In this chapter, I'm going to show you how to set up a link so that when people click on it, they can download and file. That can be a Word file, it can be an image. All you need to do is go to anything that can be linked. Remember, you can have columns, you can have text, buttons, icons. I'll select this button here. And I know it's a button because of this little icon all the way to the left. Select the link. In the previous course, we did look at how you bring in a link as a URL. We also looked at how do you link with a jump link or an anchor link to other blocks on the page. And soon we will also talk about pop-ups. But now we're going to go to File, and you will see there is a little plus, which is an upload. Select. I'll select this file, which is a picture, and I will say Select. Now that has been entered. Let's save our page, Control-S, Command-S, or just click on Update at the bottom, and then we go and preview it. Go to the link, click on it. Effectively, we have created two websites, kind of, in this tutorial. We started off with that one that we created manually with the headers and the global blocks, save blocks, and we built up the page title at the very top. And then I showed you how you can import an entire template ready-made with the one-click installation and a few pro features. Now, we still have a third part here that focuses on pro features within Brizy Pro, but those are optional. It's mega menu, sticky header, pop-ups, which one I really like, and we'll cover things like stories also quickly. Those are exclusive to the Brizy Academy page. I mentioned that in the first chapter. To access the Brizy Academy, visit brizy.io, go to resources, and at resources, you select Academy. Here you'll find the many courses related to Brizy WordPress and Brizy Cloud. And there are numerous tutorials here. We try to keep them up to date so that you can get the latest information as well. You can't get more up to date than this one you are currently watching until the next one rolls along. Hop on over then, follow the link in the description below, and we'll see you there at the Brizy Academy for more awesome goodies. What does the future hold? Well, the future holds blogging, which we definitely need to dive in, which is going to be the next course to show you how you work with templates and again with the global blocks and those elements to set up your posts and your blogging. And then the future is WooCommerce, how to integrate your e-store with WooCommerce, and again, use Brizy Pro as your theme builder to get that all up. But there's so much more. Again, I recommend for that, you also subscribe to YouTube, because we often have mini courses at YouTube to help you with those special functions like pop-ups or global blocks to understand all those conditions and how you can use it. From me, JP, thank you for joining me on this journey. It does get a bit long sometimes. I hope you had your cups of tea and coffee along the way, but the learning is always good. Keep it going. See you in the next one.